So I'm going to break down the awakening, the Jesus on the cross, how it was put from the Gnostic standpoint. So first thing you got to understand, a cross is a cruciform. A cruciform is literally a template of a box. That's how simple this shit is. The shit is really talking about a box. That's why they say you got to think outside the fucking box. But a box is the masculine thing. The box is always masculine because it deals with corners and angles. That's why all of the angels, it's they last names start with L. Michael L. Something else L. Raphael. This here L. Because all of those was a part of the masculine part of the God, which was the Elohim. That's why even the word angel has L at the end. Because it's only just talking about a perception. Because a perception got to come from the mind. The mind is a masculine thing. So I explained that because the corners is an angle. It's an angel. It's a perception. You know what I mean? Once you cut that corner, you could say this is 90 degrees. That's an angle that you could look at it from. You could perceive it from that angle. A box have all straight lines. That's the masculine. A feminine is the circle. That's why females are curvy. That's why the heart deals with cycles. The mind want to compartmentalize every motherfucking thing. That's the masculine thing. So basically, a cross is a template of a box. Basically, it's you being put into a fucking body, right? That's what it represented. Because him being nailed to the cross is your soul being put into this physical box, this masculine box. Everybody's body is masculine, rather you're a female or a male. They changed that too. If you look up the ancient Egyptian religion, you'll see that the sky was feminine and that the male Geb laying on the motherfucking ground, he represented physical. They switched that and they tried to make it Mother Nature and all of that shit, and the sky became God. Nah, that's bullshit. Ain't no motherfucking man creative. But back to understanding that the box, that's all he was talking about. So if you take a cross and you fold that motherfucker up, you can fold that bitch right into a perfect box because it represents the template of a box, right? So the box is the thing that holds the soul in. The soul is spirit. It's circular. It can't be contained. It can't be put on something and grounded. You could put a box down and you could control the fucking box, but you can't control no circle. You can't control spirit, right? So that's what it represented first. Let's start there. So then, after you're put in a box, after you're put in a physical body, now you got to be waking up. I got to wake you up so you can open that motherfucker box and let the spirit out. So this is where he was being stoned. So look, stone represented physical reality. So basically, he's being fucked up by reality. And you'll think, like, why would stone represent physical reality? Because everything comes from stone. There's nothing in your physical reality that didn't start off as a rock. So let's break that down real simple. If you look at a tree, where do a tree come from? It come from dirt. What is dirt? A crushed up motherfucking rock. So that means we're going to just say everything that grows out of the dirt, that grows out of a tree, came from a rock. Where do rubber come from? It comes from the tree sap, so it comes from a rock. Where do glass come from? It comes from quartz crystals. It comes from a rock. Where do metals come from? It comes from a rock. It's not where cotton come from. It grows out of the tree. It comes from a rock. Everything comes from a rock. That's why I wear rocks. I'm not tripping. I know that this is crystallized mind, right? Our ancestors knew that too. So that's why they basically being stoned is being hit by life, right? That's the first part of your awakening. This whole shit is talking about awakening. This is what a rebirth is. You got to be reborn first in order to make it into the heavenly. This is what it's really talking about. So the second stage of an awakening is when you stop blaming the outside. If you still blaming liars for lying to you and you mad motherfucker lied to me, you're like, yo, bro, that's a liar that lied to you. That's a yeller that yelled at you. Like, why you bent out of shape? Like a yeller just yelled. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? He don't even know he yelling. That's an unconscious program. This person don't know they cheating. They don't know they lying. They can't see they self. You can see yourself though. That's the second part of you taking responsibility and stop blaming people outside of you. There's no way that you can have a full awakening while you still blaming the world. And in the Bible, this is what it sounds like in the Bible. Forgive them, they know not what they do. So as he's getting stoned, he said, forgive them. They know not what they do. That's all he's saying is you cannot blame them for their unconsciousness. That's it. That's what it means, period. That's the second part of awakening. The third part of awakening is after you realize that the outside shit don't got control over you, then you come to the realization that I control my own life. I shape my own life. The energy that I put out comes back to me. So because of the energy I put out comes back to me, I'm doing this to myself. In the Bible, what do that sound like? That's when Jesus said, why have thou forsaken me? And you like, I thought you was supposed to be down for our sins. What the fuck you talking about somebody crossed you? The fuck you mean? How the fuck is somebody crossed you? And if you God in flesh, who crossed you? All he's saying is, why am I doing this to myself? And when you realize that everything that's happening in your life is of your doing, that's what makes you a God. You take responsibility for your power. That's what wakes you up out of the fucking sleep state. And then after that, you die. The old you die. The program you die. The ego dies. And you be born again as spirit. As the person that has the power. And this is the thing. When you born again, like Jesus did after he rose the third day, the three parts of awakening, and anybody that went through awakening know they went through these three steps. This is universal law of going through awakening. So when you wake up and you realize who you are, they said that Jesus was around his disciples and they didn't know who he was. And I'm like, what the fuck? He was only in the dirt for 3 days. Like, what, did the worms eat him up and he came out that bitch like a Michael Jackson move? Like, how they ain't know who he was? What the fuck is going on? And I'm sure he was talking to them like, oh, that's Jesus. How they didn't know who he was? And all of that is just a metaphor that when you have an awakening, the people that you used to be around, they gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck happened or not. They can't recognize you. And when I had my awakening, motherfuckers couldn't recognize me. They was saying I went crazy. I lost his motherfucking mind. That motherfucker, I don't know what the fuck he been eating shrooms or something. I don't know what the fuck. He must have slipped a Mickey. Or they was thinking they couldn't recognize me because I wasn't the person I used to be. And only the Gnostic teachers would teach you this. You ain't gonna learn this in the fucking church because they trying to rock you to sleep. Put your money in the offering